So like, what gave you the idea, hey, I'm going to be a comedian?
Well, when I was a kid, my mother I used to do impressions. I was kind of I was raised on television, and I was a decent 11-year-old impressionist.
Your first paying road gig.
Oh, well, I mean, I did some out-of-town jobs as a kid. I used to work with 2 strippers, and we would do army bases. I don't know if those were quite...
And you would open for them? Or?
Yeah, I'd open for them, and they were like 40 years old, and they were strippers. And
How old were you at that time?
18, 19.
I started when I was 17.
17. So in other words, you were not legal to be in the bar. You
Right.
started it.
Actually, I was. The owners were very cool in Orlando at a club called Bonkers, and they gave me a job so I could legally be in the club, and so I would bus tables and seat people, and then go up and MC the show.
My
and
God.
yeah.
So what did your family think when you said, Mom, Dad, I'm going to be a comedian?
Well, at first I was afraid to tell them because, they're strict Catholics, so I was telling them I was going to night school to become a nun.
You did not.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was saying something like that, and they thought I was going to night school, and then I would come back, and, one night I invited them, I go, you guys, you want to come to this thing that I'm doing? And it was downtown in Chicago, and they saw me on stage, and my dad was kind of surprised. But then at first they were like, not really encouraging about it, but when I started making money, oh yeah, they're all over it.
What's going on tomorrow, boys?
Long drive.
The convenient LA to Helena commute.
It's the red eye.
Yeah. And we've got a plastic sort of a bubble that we're putting on top of the car.
We were going to attempt to put it on top of the car.
Yeah, that's our primary concern right now is the potential of mayhem on the highway as the bubble is impacted by large amounts of
I'm not so
air.
much worried about the mayhem on my car as I am the mayhem that'll ensue when you get sued when it flies off the car.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Or like there's a van full of nuns behind us, or orphans or something. After that, 33 consecutive days of one-nighters in Montana, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Northern Nevada. We've gone about 1,000 miles, I think, from.
We might have to stop and look that one.
And there's also a time change. I believe it's 1968 right now in Montana and Idaho.
Not bringing illegal drugs into North Dakota, please bring extra and share, because there isn't shit to do up here, alright? It's flat, it's cold, we're bored, we need shit to do. And it gets cold, too, up there, man. I'm assuming you guys get pretty cold. I was up there, man, about a year ago in January, true story. Weatherman gets on the news one night, he says, it's going to be so cold tomorrow, it's not going to snow. You know it's cold when snow is hanging out in the clouds and going, fuck it, no way. That shit is too cold.
But the really hard work is finding out that when you bomb, which is a normal thing, even Bill Cosby does it, once in a while. Maybe not anymore, by the way. You have to, you can't take it personally, like you go, oh my God. You just have to listen to the audience, and they're telling you, oh, well, this isn't funny, so you have to go back and rework and write other stuff.
Man, what do you think of like a simple lizard level? We have thoughts like, I'm cold. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Why am I in the wet spot? keep some of this shit to yourself. Don't give away too much at the bar, my friend. Hold a few back. My ass hurts. I got peanut butter in my hair. What the fuck? What's going on here, man? That's it for me, guys. God bless you all. Hello, Montana. Live long. Rock on. Hi, this is Phil. I'm the comedian for Sawbucks on Friday. Yeah, I've been a contributing writer for Jay Leno for about 13 years, and I've been working the road for about 15 years, and I've been criminally insane for about 16 years, so it's all working out pretty well. Yeah, don't worry, I will. Yeah, thanks, man. Oh, back to sleep. Oh, all right.
Did all the LA stuff when I got out there, man. Got a cell phone? Are the cell phones popular up here? Yeah, you guys get a signal up here? All right. I'm with a great cell phone company. They're called One Hand on Your Shoulder. You might have heard of them. Anybody? No? Well, that's because they bend you over when you sign up for their program. You come in, it's like, I'd like to get a phone. Oh, really? Well, we'll just take those down right there. What's that? You want free weekends? Well, we'll just take that out right there. No roaming charges, we'll just put that right there. Can you hear me now?
Woo! Oh man, great to be back in fabulous Hamilton. Gateway to Derby, right on. All right. I don't like Montana. I think I'll go to Idaho.
I don't like Idaho. I think I'll go to
Idaho. This seems dull. Let's go back to Montana.
Let's go back to Idaho.
Look, it's the Unabomber. Let's go back to Idaho.
Potatoes, potatoes.
Ah!
Let me tell you about our first comedian tonight. He is originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. He now lives in Los Angeles, and he's opened for Tommy Chong and Bobcat Goldthwait. Please welcome to our stage the very funny Dan Friedman.
Dan, come on out, buddy.
How about a round of applause for your hosts and MCs up here tonight doing a great job for you, gang? If you're going to move in with a girl, make sure that you're sleeping with her, because if you're not, it's the same amount of bitching, but no sex. All right? So, little tip from Dan. And I never lived with a girl, and like for the first year that I'm living out there, all my buddies back in Ohio, they're calling me every day. They're like, dude, have you seen her tits? Have you seen her tits? And I'm like, no, but you can if you get on the internet, because I hooked some shit up in her room.
You ever notice you never meet anybody who works in a dildo factory? Never. You know, I've met glider pilots, narcs, molecular biologists, pile drivers. I've never met somebody. You just get off third shift up at the dildo factory. Boss said we got to make 20% more cock by April. I don't know how we're going to do it.
Wake up! We know you're in there, punk. Don't try anything stupid. We've got the place surrounded. We've got dogs. We've got tear gas.
Yes.
On Sunday, I
Sunday.
think we're gonna.
The famous Dumas brothel.
The Dumas brothel,
Yes.
where they have the world's oldest dildo. This was once used by the wife of Yosemite Sam. Custer's wife once enjoyed this dildo, made out of pure buffalo hide and a little bit of love. Can you say dildo on a country station?
Well,
this is a Republican dildo, by the way, out there. This is not the Dixie Chicks.
Well, we probably managed to offend just about everyone who was listening before.
Yeah.
My goodness, but
We're communist homosexuals too, by the way. I don't know if we mentioned that for all you country fans out there. I enjoy folk music primarily, and I'm a vegetarian, and I hate copper. No, I'm kidding. You got any pot?
not on.
Is this thing on? I'm sorry, I thought we were going to commercial.
It's the same. It's the same. I've worked in Las Vegas and I've worked at TK's Cabaret in Fort Rucker, Alabama, and it's the same.
Yeah. Once you're on stage.
It's the same. People might, it's not as glamorous to be at TK's Cabaret, but you might actually get laid at TK's Cabaret, whereas you may not in Vegas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's the same.
Here's something I saw on TV that was pretty stupid recently. They're advertising our new $20 bill. Fuck me, but if I go to the bank and they hand me a 20, as long as it doesn't have a choo-choo or a thimble or a dog on it, I'm pretty cool that it's a 20.
Pull up to the ATM machine, I'm getting my $20 plus the $1.50 fuck you fee. Thanks for coming to Bank America. Car pulls in behind me, black tinted windows, gold rimmed tires, purple neon light, looks like a titty bar landed behind me. Hear that rap music blaring? And I'll slap the motherfucker! Oh, I hit that automatic door. It's okay, honey, they'll issue me another card. Now crank up that Yanni tape and let's roll! Let's pretend it's not there. What do you say? I will if you will. 30 seconds of stilted silence is okay with me. Maybe there'll be a beer commercial next.
So that's the funny thing about comedians. Once you get to 5 years into it, you're into that. Everywhere you go, oh, we're the comedians at the club. Who are you? Oh, I'm a comedian at the club. Oh, you need to come see us. We got a show. Yeah. All that stuff. 10 years, you start working on you start understanding yourself pretty well. At 20 years, if you're not doing it for therapy and you're not doing it because you just love it, then you're missing the point.
I love Dan like a baby brother. he and I are, you know, closer than close. But I gotta say, it is nice to just get a little bit of quietude and to get away from each other, you know, because we're traveling in the car together for days and weeks. So, you know, just getting a little distance between us once in a while. Because Dan never comes in the hot tub. He doesn't go running. And I don't play nickel slots. So it's good to have a little break from each other.
What's been the scariest experience on a one-nighter on the road that you've ever had?
There have been many dozens. You know, when you do it as long as I have, there have been some tough.
Is there any one that just kind of sticks out in your mind?
One sticks out because I have bruises still, 15 years later. I was in Danville, Virginia, and I'm doing a routine about deer hunting and that it's not a sport. Football is a sport. Wrestling is a sport. But deer hunting's only a sport when the deer has a gun and can shoot it. You know. Anyway, a guy stands up and he calls me a dirty Jew out of nowhere. The guy stands up and, like, you Jew, you come here from New York and tell us what to do. And, you know, there's only two. If audiences smell blood, they'll eat us alive. So it's an act. Some good comic told me, he said, you got to act crazier than they do.
Yeah, you got to stand up to him.
So I stood up to him and I said, no, I'm a North Carolina Jew. And I said, I'll kick you little redneck. You know, it's like that. Went back and forth. So three of these guys, attacked me from the stage.
Literally attacked you?
Literally attacked me. And there's a witness to it, a fellow who you know named Rick Papaleo.
He was like your opening act?
Half my son. He was the opening act. And he ran. He ran and hid behind a bar. He jumped over a bar. Jumped over a bar.
He didn't help you?
Oh, of course not. And I wouldn't have wanted him to. You know, no.
It would have been no use.
I've been responsible for his death. And I was fighting. I was swinging my fist and kicking.
Sure.
And these three guys had trouble stopping the fight. Then the police came, and I was beat up. You know, I really got beat up. We're calling each other names, rednecks and dirty Jews and everything. It was unbelievable. And it was scary.
Yeah.
Because the policeman asked me after the course of the night was over. That was the end.
Were
of the
they
show.
arrested?
It was 15 minutes into the show. No, nobody was arrested. So I said, well, what are we going to do? He said, where's your next gig? I said, Greensboro, North Carolina, Comedy Zone. He said, well, let us drive you 30, 40 miles down the road. I said, for what? He said, they're going to follow us. I said, you got to be. It was like.
It's like Deliverance or something.
It was a nightmare. When I think of it, but honestly, I still get intense. It was the most intense moment of my life.
Yesterday was Tuesday. Today is
Look at
Wednesday.
that, 10 days.
10 days now.
See, it's flying by, you know.
It's gonna be sad when it's over.
Yeah, it is.
It's like being in summer.
You know, I find this is weird, but
I get very depressed.
when I go off the road, I actually miss, because like we're used to talking to each other and talking all this stuff. I miss you for a few days. Like, it's weird, you know.
You know, it's funny to say, but it's like it's the same thing for me. It's
I
like,
call you up sometimes, like, hey man, did you see that game?
Yeah, I get a little depressed.
Yeah, it's weird,
all
you know?
over, you know, because it's fun. I mean, it's hard work. Some days are stressful, some days ain't. But for the most part, I mean, I've always said, even when you're staying, you know, when you stay at a condo and you work with somebody after a week or so, it's like summer camp, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, shit, I'm really bummed out. You know, like if somebody you get along with and you have fun with, I mean.
Yes, they're like part of your world for a little
I'm
while.
sure we both worked with people we couldn't wait to get the hell out of the condo with them.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
One of my all-time favorites. What flavor is your lemonade? I'm sorry, ma'am, I just sold out of all the coffee-flavored lemonade. She says, no, I mean, is it pink or yellow? Well, the adjective you're looking for would be color. Tell you what, why don't I help you with your helmet right there?
We went by, there's like a buffalo pasture, and there was a sign saying buffalo hunts, $300. Isn't that sick? They probably just drive you out there in a Jeep, you know, you're like 8 feet from the buffalo, bam! Wow, that was pretty sporting. What do you think, huh? I like to go there and just go, hey, can we just walk up with a 38 and shoot them point blank, mob style? Is that okay? We're sick fucks. That's what we want to do. We're twisted assholes. We want to go shoot a bovine animal. They're just like standing there taking a shit. What the hell was that?
What I found is You know, comedians a lot of times will sit around and go, I gotta go write jokes. Oh gosh, I gotta think of something new. Oh gosh, I gotta think of something. How come I can't think of something? How come he's funnier than me? How come that guy's got something I don't have? How come he's getting better and I don't? You know? Well, go live a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, forget about comedy. Go build a house. Adding 1,000 square feet on the front of the house is the best thing I ever did for my comedy career.
Because you're just writing about everything.
Well, I don't sit down and write it, but you know, the guy don't show up. You know, he's got to go to a little league game now. He can't do the trim. You know, well, you can take that on the stage and do a bit about it. Now I've probably got 30, 40 minutes about adding on to a house. But you know, if you can't think of anything, take your kid to a little league game.
Yeah.
You know, coach little league, do something. If you live, you'll think of jokes.
Just had a little 2-hour nap. Now I'm getting a little soak time in. And about 9:30 we do a show here in what has traditionally been an unruly and chatty crowd, but you know, that's just the breaks and these kind of things. It's kind of a meat market bar that we're playing tonight, so a lot of people are kind of there for dancing and romancing, and comedy's sort of a filler.
Yeah, they always come to me, they're like, you know, you shouldn't smoke marijuana. Yeah, so about it.
Yeah, I mean, Dan seems to thrive on chaos. His girlfriend just moved in with him, and her 8-year-old and 14-year-old child just moved in with him. You know, his home is sort of perpetual chaos. I do worry that he's going to burn out, and he travels constantly. I mean, he's on the road at all times, it seems, and he's not a person who seems to have a kind of a center. He doesn't have a happy place that he goes to very often. He's sort of, I'm not going to say neurotic, but certainly he's under a lot of self-imposed pressure. So yeah, I worry that he is going to burn out. You know, that eventually he's going to hit the wall, God forbid, you know, in one way or another. But I think that's kind of my job on this trip, is to try to prevent him from getting completely exhausted. One thing I've learned about my act is the only way to really stay sane on the road doing this many shows night after night after night is to do it differently every night somehow. You know, to do some new material, to do something germane to the area you're working in, to improvise, to play on stage, and not just kind of be locked into your act, but to be able to deviate from the script and just kind of have fun. There they are. Look at that, snow-capped peaks. You know, you don't get this work in the coffee house circuit, I'll tell you that.
Let's give an art club, Billings, Montana, welcome to Dan Friedman.
Well, good evening, Billings, Montana. How you guys doing tonight? I'll let y'all get to know me a little bit. I'm an only child. You pretty much got two choices when you're growing up and you got free time as an only child. Talk to yourself or play with yourself. And needless to say, I communicate well and have a firm handshake. So, I think everybody should have a hobby, and that one happens to be free. So, no $5 cover there, man.
So why is it you people are eating like Roman gods and everybody else is eating crackers and drinking? Who the hell are these people? What's going on here? Got caviar and pig heads on the table. More wine! Now Terry, what is this all one group here? And are you the boss? Yeah, look at that. He's got the interns, you know, over here. Anything you want, Jerry. And Marilyn over here, look at him. Happy birthday, dear Jerry. You make eyeglasses. And you don't need them, apparently. Because I've seen the way you've been looking at her breasts, and it seems your vision
Does your wife know about the existence of this woman right here, Jerry? Pumping down Zinfandel and looking at you like a Christmas present. Looking at him, oh, he's a powerful man. Old enough to be my father. Much more successful than that douchebag I divorced a couple of years ago. Am I hitting pretty close to home here?
Do you ever wonder why you need to perform? You ever thought, why that's in you?
No, I mean, I'm one of 6 kids, and maybe it's that, middle child syndrome, I've never even given that much thought because it was something that didn't interest. It's like it's just what I wanted to do, and I never questioned it.
So is that why you think you perform?
Yeah, because I grew up in this family where I could never talk. Everybody was always screaming at the same time.
So now you get to go on stage and you're the only one talking.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Why you get up on a stage and do what you do when most people are horrified of public speaking in any venue?
I bet you know this too. Most of us do. Our fraternity sorority of comedians, we know this. There's nothing like evoking laughter from strangers. It's the most humane noise that we make. Music is great, babies gurgling are great, but humans laughing that don't know each other. It's almost like, if I were an artist, it's painting promise for the future. Because there's so little science of, so little science. But people laughing is terrific. Yeah. And I think that's why we do it. It's like a healthy drug.
I've been a comic for over 13 years. Been in a car for over 480,000 miles. Been on stage over 1,000 times. The best part about my job, gang, the signs that greet you when you drive from state to state. I love those. Like when you would go into my old home state of Ohio, we had a big sign that said, "Welcome to Ohio, the heart of it all," right? I like the one they got when you go into Iowa. It says, "Welcome to Iowa, you make me smile." Yeah, I think they need to change that. I think they should change it to, "Welcome to Iowa, we got corn." And then when you get to Nebraska, it should say, "So do we."
My favorite are domestic squads. Late at night, trailer park, Arkansas. Cops get there, invariably the perpetrator is fucked up. He's got blood and corn in his hair. No shoes on, I believe that's a criminal union rule. Ripped up jogging shorts. He's got a tank top that says, "I eat pussy" on the front. And Dale Earnhardt on the back. That's it, guys. God bless you. Thanks a lot.
Great show, you guys. My God.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was excellent. You guys sign it back to me, please. Alrighty then. And there it is.
Thank
you. Okay.
Show went very well last night. It's always a good room. They're there just for a show. You don't get what I call the Skinner syndrome, where they wee after every joke, which we haven't had a lot of in general. But they were good. I was very happy with my set. I thought I gave them a really good show. I mean, I feel like they got their money's worth. Kind of how I look at it.
Last night's show in Miles City was a delightful experience. We've been here twice now. Both times the show's been great. The crowd's been great. The people, they're just so appreciative. I mean, this is a town of 10,000 people. They don't get a lot, Les Miserables does not come to Miles City. Tom Jones doesn't, there's no, concerts don't come here. So I think they really appreciate it when professional entertainers or reasonable facsimiles thereof come to their town and give it their all.
But that was kind of how I started. I was 19. 1 month before I was 20 was the first time I got on stage. I had 7 minutes, I'm sorry. I had 7 minutes, and I took 3 old jokes that are like 2 guys walk into a bar, stock jokes. I put myself in the position of the people in the joke who basically were getting the laugh on the dumb person in the joke. It was like a Polish joke, but instead of it being a Polish guy, it was me and 2 of my buddies. And then I had 3 original jokes that I had written, and I did like a stock joke, one of my jokes, stock joke, my joke, stock joke, thank you, good night. And I got laughs and I was hooked. Everybody gave me advice, try not to suck. If they heckle you, say this, that, the other. But the one thing nobody told me about was how bright the lights were going to be when I got up there. And that was the thing that stunned me the most. I walked up and I was playing to a black room. No, couldn't see a soul. It was like the room was empty.
I started doing comedy on the road in 1987 at the height of the comedy boom. So I've been doing it essentially all my adult life. And it's really the only job I've ever had as a grown-up. And I waited tables and had some kind of get-by jobs when I was first doing comedy, but this is the only full-time gig I've ever really had. Only one I've ever really wanted.
You're always nervous. People always ask too, are you nervous? Do you get nervous before you go up? I think if you don't get nervous, something's wrong. You should be nervous. You're supposed to be. If you're getting up in front of a room full of strangers whose attitude essentially is make me laugh.
But I like it. I mean, it makes life very, very simple. You wake up in the morning, you've got a destination, you've got you know where you've got to go, you know the next town on your itinerary, you've got to drive there, you got a show to do. It's a very elemental existence. You know, all the distractions that you have when you're home, you don't really have on the road. It's life boiled down to its barest elements. It's just get there, do the gig, get paid, get something to eat, talk to some people. It's not for everybody, but if you thrive on it, it's a great life.
As far as finances go, I have to work every week.
As much as you do.
Yeah. And then B, I like it.
Yeah.
If I didn't like it, I'd quit. But you always see a lot of comedians, well, I like being a comedian, but I don't like the traveling. I like the traveling.
Yeah.
I sit around in a place for 2 or 3 days and I'll start getting the shakes.
Yeah.
This is a great place, but I got to go.
You get ants in your pants.
Yeah.
Why do you think some comics get really famous and then some guys who are very talented, who are good writers, never quite reach that pinnacle?
It's so many of the guys that have done that. I mean, some of my good friends are some of the best comics I've ever seen that aren't household names. Yeah. They're just, sometimes they're their own worst enemy. A lot of times, and especially in the early 80s, a lot of things got in the way, whether it be alcohol, drugs, or their big mouths, that got themselves in trouble. And or they just have no business sense whatsoever. They're guys that are, they go out and it's been a party. From the time they started comedy, it was a great way to meet women and go out on the road and just have fun.
Free drinks.
Yeah, free drinks and get high if that's what they were into. So that's stumble. A lot of guys stumbled like that. Some had health issues and things went away. But usually the cream rises. I mean, if they're serious about the business and the guys, took the time to move to New York or Los Angeles and get involved, it usually happened for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. A lot of guys miss it, but usually there's some defect in their character somewhere.
Something went wrong.
That was wrong and just didn't work for them.
I think that the major thing was, I used to get up and I would write jokes and tell jokes. And all the comics in those days, we would, especially around Los Angeles, we'd go to Cantor's, or we'd go to a place called Theodore's, which doesn't exist anymore, or one of the restaurants, and we'd all have a booth and we'd sit around and, tell stories or talk about how awful the gigs were, or whatever. And every night at those gigs, at those restaurants, I would regale them with stories, and people would laugh, and it was never the material from my act. It would be just the stories of, I went in there and this guy comes up to me, whatever it might be. And people were laughing, and I said to myself, you know, I spent all this time writing jokes. Why don't I'm going to tell the exact same story I told tonight in this restaurant to all the guys on stage. And next night when I got on stage, I said, you know, folks, this isn't even a joke, but I'm in this place, and I told the story the exact same way, and it got a huge laugh. And then I realized writing setup, punchline was really not the way to go. You know, if you really want to get your own personality and your own style, you have to do the jokes that you do off stage to get on stage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Take the material that you, however funny you are, and the comics that I found that never made it are the ones that are funnier off stage than they are on stage. And we all know those guys who can sit down and do tell you hard, and then they get on stage and do the corniest, oldest material. But off, boy, when the camera's not on or they're sitting talking with the other comics, they rule the room. You know, that's when you have to make that transition. That's when you know you're going to make it, when you can make that transition successfully.
What made you leave L.A.? What made you say, I'm out of here?
Well, I went out there and I did one sitcom. I did an episode of Grace Under Fire one time, and I got a Tonight Show, and I was okay. They didn't burn my phone up or anything, but I don't know. There was a point, you know, I was married at the time. I had my daughter out there. We got, you know, 4 bedrooms worth of furniture in a 2-bedroom apartment somewhere, and it was always me having to prove myself to somebody, and I guess I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder at the time, but you know, I'm a Southerner. I want to be a Southerner. Yeah. I like being a Southerner, and I don't want to lose my accent.
Were they trying to make you do that?
No, it's just, you know, it was always, okay, here's what we'll do. Here's a new idea. You'll look dumb, but you'll actually be smart. Okay? And I go, well, that's what everybody always said, you know? And I got tired of that. I decided I didn't want to be Richard Pryor. I wanted to be Ronnie Van Zant. So I rolled the window down one time in my car on 110, looked up in the air, and I said, I've done everything I'm supposed to do. What do you want me to do? And he said, go back where people want to help you. Go back to North Carolina. Go back to Georgia. Go be on the radio. Go talk to the people who want to hear what you have to say. You know, don't keep trying to make money with people who think you're an idiot.
Okay, what's the most difficult aspect of dealing with comics?
The most difficult? Keeping enough Tums on hand.
Tums?
Yeah. It's the day-to-day things. It's the breakdown. For instance, you guys just beat the snow coming over the pass. But what if you hadn't? You got caught in the middle of it and hadn't gotten out. You may have even planned to have left several hours earlier than usual just to get there, but something happened to get caught behind a jackknife vehicle. It's dealing with the day-to-day operations of making sure everybody's there and everybody's happy.
Have you ever had a comic get in like a really bad car accident going to a gig?
Yes, several of them, and God, I wish that they hadn't gotten back into comedy afterwards because I felt they were just hurting themselves.
Really?
I got a call from, I'm trying to remember the name of the comic. This is coming up, I think it was coming up in '99, heading, was it to Stockton? Only I got a call from him after he was in the ambulance. Wow. Yeah, racked his leg up really bad, and I can't remember the gentleman's name. I've had, boy, there have been a few who have gotten in pretty bad accidents.
Has anybody ever died going to one of your gigs?
All right. I'm playing on stage with an Edsel. Can you get in this thing? Get in here. This is pretty much my drive to Lewiston today.
This is cast from Orfino 90210 right here. Chad and Jeremy and Heather and Chad and Jeremy and Timothy McVeigh. I don't know who the fuck that is. Oh, it's heavy duty, edgy shit. Well, we got a guy from Georgia right there, motherfucker. Yeah! Hell, I'm from Georgia. Hell yeah, man. Fabulous place. Wow. Good God, we got grown-ups here. And by the way, we see a slightly older gentleman like this with a hot young girl. The fucker's got some money. All right, this guy's serious. Larry, Daryl, and Daryl. Good to see those. Oh, there he is. Yeah, leave now, Mr. Metlab. Get out of here. Sure. I think I'm an undercover cop. We got some kind of a sausage party here. All right. Yeah. It's good to see open homosexuality in Idaho. You know what I'm saying? It's good to finally see guys coming out of the closet.
the hardest things about this job is like, and the prime example will be tomorrow, and even today, every day for that matter. I'm driving for extended periods of time, and then I have to get out of a car and sometimes go straight from the car right to the stage and act like I'm wide awake or not tired for that matter. And, you know, most people work an 8-hour shift at an average job. So tomorrow I'm going to put in what's typically a typical person's workday behind the wheel of a car, then jump in a shower, shave, and be on stage, work for another hour, really more like 2 or 3 if you count hanging out at the club afterwards. So I'll put in a 12-hour day tomorrow. So that's a real job. I don't care what anybody says.
I don't like my birthday, I don't like the holidays, I don't like getting presents. See, people think when you're spoiled, you're an only child, you get everything you want, right? Most given presents to me by my relatives growing up, board games. Yeah, bingo, like I had anybody to play them with, exactly. I look real cute at the age of 8, running around the house. I won, I beat myself. My dad's at the top of the steps. You'll go blind doing that! Saying thanks was always fun, too. Thanks, Uncle Tom. Appreciate that Battleship and Twister. Well, Twister's not bad. With 8 proper spins, I can blow myself. So... a couple of guys going, shit, I'm asking for that for Christmas. I'm going to write that down.
Ellensburg, oh, Ellensburg. Ellensburg, there's no bird like Ellensburg.
You know, comedians are an incredible breed. I mean, they're a lot of fun, but generally they're a little nuts, you know. I mean, in a lot of ways, they're out of their minds. You know, the really good ones have some defect.
I want more guitar. I think it comes out of left field for him. I'm looking at it from a scientific point of view. It's beautiful. You don't know how to play guitar. That's painfully obvious when you get up there. You've got a classic closing piece. The only thing is, it's going to cost you 15 to 20 bucks every time you want to do it.
That's a killer.
But you also, you know, you can write that off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know.
Oh, I didn't get a receipt for that.
No, you didn't.
So what's the strangest thing that's ever happened while you were performing?
Oh my God, I've had a few. Let me think. Strangest. Well, I was in Philadelphia, and it was kind of a raucous evening, kind of a raucous audience. But you know, that didn't freak me out or anything, and everything was going really well. And I'm doing some joke about camping or whatever it is. This huge lumberjack guy comes on stage, doesn't say a word, just lifts me up. I mean, I'm kind of little, but I mean, he just lifts me up like, you know, like he's bench pressing, and I realized, oh, you know, it's just like with wild animals, you're not supposed to panic. You know,
Don't show fear.
Don't show fear. Never show fear when you're on a horse. You know, so I just acted really bored. And after he twirled me around a couple times and he just left, I go, oh, Dad, why do you always pick times like this to come on stage when I'm trying to express myself? Anyway.
You know, the intimacy or you know, the smoky little rooms, do you miss it?
No. You know, I always thought when I was a kid, boy, the cool guys are the guys that never quite made it. You know, the guys that the big-time comics thought were the funniest guys who never made it, who worked in the smoky rooms for low money. Well, then I worked for years in smoky rooms with low money. I go, this sucks. You know, this is awful. I don't want to be one of these guys.
Okay.
Wednesday, Lewiston.
Wednesday, Lewiston.
Thursday, Ellensburg.
Thursday, Ellensburg.
Friday, Klamath Falls.
Friday, Klamath Falls.
Saturday, Reading.
So we'll mark off Saturday.
And that's where we are.
20 days, bro.
20 days. This is the last day of our third of the 5 weeks.
I think they want people to stop smoking cigarettes. What they ought to do is make cigarettes illegal and then just make pot legal. That's my opinion, man. All right. Don't really have a joke about it. I just say that to see who I'm hanging out with after the show. No, I think we ought to legalize it, man. What kills me, though, is whenever I bring up legalizing it, why is it that by the end of the night, the people that want to lecture me about smoking pot are always the drunkest people in the bar? They always come up to me and they're like, you know, you shouldn't smoke marijuana, man. It's like, you know, you're gonna piss on yourself before the night's out. I'm gonna be high as shit and laugh my ass off about it. Then I'm gonna forget it for an hour, remember it again, have a whole brand new laugh. You're not gonna know you pissed on yourself till I email you pictures tomorrow.
I would rather fly in a plane with a gay pilot than ride a Greyhound bus ever again. Oh. Anybody ridden a Greyhound bus?
Oh, yeah.
Where'd you go, sir? Where'd you go?
Right there, the bartender.
Where'd you go, bartender? Sacramento. From here to Sacramento, that's 7 days on a Greyhound bus. Like that. You stop in every crack neighborhood on the way. And it's like, oh, I hear gunfire. This must be your stop. Oh, the unmistakable stench of human misery. Let's go this way. The whole time you're on a Greyhound bus, you're just thinking, man, I have fucked my life up. I really did need algebra. Who knew? Bing, bing, bong.
You think of a funny joke or something? New gag for your act or something? Is that
It's like this.
new gag for your act?
It's like this, not.
In we go. Thank you. Thank you. See, I'm a courteous driver.
A courteous driver.
I didn't say you weren't. Did I say you were not a courteous driver? I didn't imply any. I said I'm a courteous driver.
As if to say I wasn't.
No, as if to say I am. Why is everything an attack, Dan? Why are you so defensive all the time?
I'm a courteous driver.
You think you're a courteous driver? Well, you're the only one. You're an army of one in that regard. Let's get a poll. Is there anybody else who thinks that Dan's a courteous driver?
Okay, wrong gear, that's first. Right, Jesus Christ, get in this lane. I'm gonna have a smoke after that one and calm my nerves a little bit here.
enjoyed the show, and gosh, I think we all have. I've got CDs available after the show. This is my comedy CD, Phil Perrier, Out of the Blue. They're $10, but you made a good crowd, so I'll do 2 for $20. So I wrote this song, and it's about Salem, because I've had some great times here. Salem, Oregon. Look, I'm just learning, all right? This is not a joke, all right? Salem rocks my world. Say you, Salem. I guess I'm not going to play green sleeves after all. Thanks a lot, guys. Make great crowds. See you next time.
I guess turning it on would be good. Good evening, Astoria, Oregon. How you guys doing tonight? All right, man. I'd like to thank all my close friends for showing up tonight and dressing up as an empty fucking table right here in front of me. Nice to be here in Oregon, gang. I'm from Los Angeles. Tell you what I like about coming to Oregon, you don't have to pump your own gas in this crappy ass weather. I like that. I don't know, I think that takes the fun out of driving though, you know? Really, I'd like to pump my, it's like paying for a hooker and then watching her blow your best friend, you know? It's...
When I was a kid, if you wanted to see naked women, and apparently you did, what did we have? National Geographic, that's all we had. Topless pygmies, and they look good. I was 18 when I realized breasts weren't supposed to come down to here.
All right, be sure and turn off your cell phones and your pagers, please, so everybody can enjoy the show. And keep the heckling down. These guys are, when they get in a rhythm, they like to keep going, kind of like a musician. So be nice to them, they'll be nice to you. All right, our headliner writes for Jay Leno. You may have seen him on Comedy Central. Please welcome to our Bojangle stage, Phil Perrier. Come on up here, Phil.
Gentlemen, we did that a little bit backwards, so we're going to start over. Is that all right? Is that okay? Ladies and gentlemen, your featured act this evening comes to us all the way originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. He now resides in Los Angeles, California. He's opened up for the likes of Tommy Chong and Dave Attell from Comedy Central. Please put your hands together for the very funny Dan Friedman. Let me hear it. Thank you very much.
Oh, baby. Yeah, baby. Hey, you know, you guys, this monkey's been teasing me. This monkey's been looking at me. This monkey wants me. Get me. Monkey, oh, 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 ah, oh, oh. Well, last night, we've been getting, during doing one of these one-nighters, you get terrible intros from the MCs. Usually the MC's just somebody that works at the club, and like last night they introduced me before Dan, and it just, but tonight we're going to be in Coos Bay, and the MC there is a uniquely different type of MC, and I think we can anticipate the worst intro you're ever going to see on the road with our guy tonight in Coos Bay. You know Greg, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. Captain,
does he do a good job?
Captain Energy.
Get the show on the road for you. Your first comic tonight is originally from, I can't read this in the dark. There we go. Is from Cincinnati. Now lives in LA. He has opened for Tommy tongue, Comedy Central's Dave Attell. Let's hear some noise from Mr. Dan Friedman right here.
Oh, really? Now, they took me to see Jaws, right? So there I am in my ramp in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico the next day, half asleep, minding my own business, right? My dad gets this real cute idea. Comes right out my ear and he starts going, da-da, 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 da-da. And with that, my mom grabs me and the raft and yanks me underwater. Now, not only is this the first time I officially swam in the Gulf of Mexico, but it is the first time I officially pissed and shit in the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh yeah, keep it going, Mr. Dan Freeman right there. Your headliner tonight writes for Jay Leno. You may have seen him on Comedy Central. Put your hands together. There's some noise, Mr. Phil Perrier right over here.
Thank you. You know, Greg, you did a good job on that with the intro. Do you think that Greg is he doing a pretty good job? I don't know. We're doing the documentary. I was just hoping that there'd be more. Yeah, can I give you an example of it? Sure. Your headliner is a very funny gentleman. He writes for Jay Leno. You may have seen him on Comedy Central. Let's get ready to rumble. Please welcome your headliner, Mr. Phil Perrier. You don't like that, Greg? No, go ahead. You got it. Here, take your notes. Yeah, come on. Come on, encourage him. He's learning, come on.
Take two.
Yeah, there you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Red Lions Comedy Central's very own comedy night. We have a very special guest tonight. Let's put some noise together. This guy writes for Jay Leno. He's been on Comedy Central. Let's hear some noise for Mr. Phil Perrier.
Greg right there, doing a fine job. There you go. There, you see, Greg, that's the kind of enthusiasm that's going to get you laid in this man's army.
I hope so.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
That's the thing about comedians. Deep down, we're so stupid that we believe that us being funny will help us get laid. Okay? Everybody knows musicians get laid. Comedians, we shake the guy in his dick's hands as they're
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Yeah. My boyfriend loved you.
We get the weird library girl who might love us. Okay? But comedians start out thinking, or great ones anyway, I think that if I'm funny enough, she'll love me. You know? How many times have you ever been doing a show and you look down and here's this, kicking blonde in the front, and you got the girl with the cleavage, and you got the, good-looking Hawaiian chick, and you're sitting there going, boy, if I'm funny, she's going to dump her boyfriend and go out with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if you do that, but
No,
I do.
sure.
So
then 5 minutes after the show's over, they're all gone.
they're all gone, and you're alone in a nightstand in Moline. You know what I mean?
This is the only job, though, in which drunk people critique your job performance. Doctors don't have to. Whoa, case in point there, baby cakes. Imagine being an open heart surgeon. There's people with martinis. You suck. You call that an incision, asshole? Huh? Just fucking get it out of your system, man. Come on. That eats up time just like me talking. God, there's nothing like a small, fucked up crowd. That's the best right there. Don't give me a big, receptive crowd. I want 20 or 30 pissed off fucking rednecks. That's what I want, you know what I'm saying? I want people just staring at me and a couple of drunk bitches shouting shit out. I want a fucking baited field, you know what I'm saying? I want a challenge, man.
Yeah, that was the guy I said I don't speak.
A small, inattentive, heckling, that's the
like
triple Yahtzee, man.
I felt more like a substitute teacher.
I know. It was like you're free to go. Really, you just get the fuck out.
It's exactly what I felt like tonight. A substitute teacher. It's exactly sums up what my show was tonight.
Yeah. Did you win?
Oh,
that's true though. You start hating them, like when they're that stupid and loud, like that drunk woman. You're just like, man, fuck these people. I don't want to make them laugh.
And they wanted an encore.
Oh my God, was that not going to happen?
Those three people.
They wanted an encore because they didn't hear everything the first fucking time.
They didn't understand.
That I've never seen.
They did not understand that they fucked up the whole thing.
Well, they didn't hear it the first time. That's why they wanted an encore.
Kick me.
Well, I started shouting encore as a joke, and I think they probably, yeah, fucking come on back up here. Eat it some more. You're not full yet, are you? Have dessert.
Then he has a chain that goes from his ear to his nose to his lip to his nipple to his nipple to his navel, and at the end, I quit looking, right? So I did the most logical thing I could think of. I just grabbed the chain and I yanked. Yeah, and when he got done going, parachute came out of his ass. It was amazing. Folks, I've been Dan Friedman. You all been a lot of fun. Thanks for listening.
You college kids with your hormones and all that kind of shit. Who said, oh. Hey. Leave my hormones out of this. I'm old enough to be your father. And if I was, you'd be getting a damn good spanking right about now. Put you over my knee, I will. That's it for me. Been a great crowd. Thank you to OIT.
Kind of the beauty of AAA show business, and this is what I call it, AAA show business. There's Major League Baseball, there's AAA, there's AA, there's A. I always consider myself to be in I'm kind of in AAA show business. Once in a while I'll get the call to go up into the show, and then I'm back in AAA again, and up to the show, and then back to AAA again. If I ever write a book, it's going to be called I Was Here One Day, and I Was Here the Next Day. I've actually been on a Greyhound bus, broke down on the top of Mont Eagle, Tennessee, with a guy eating Vienna sausages and a pair of Bermuda shorts and sandals. The bus is broke down, and me and him are both sitting out on the guardrail, overlooking a cliff. You know, how come you're going to Nashville? And me go, I'm going to be on national television at 5:30. Well, how come you're in the back seat of a Greyhound reading the biography of Ed Gein? You know?
Don't be alarmed. We're making a documentary film. The man won't hurt you. Just keep your hands away from his mouth.
Do you guys have a sports book here? Is there a sports book in town anywhere?
Ooh wee.
That's where I'll be
That's where
tomorrow,
we're going.
watching football.
Is this one of the nicer casinos in Winnemucca? Ooh.
You guys have driver's licenses?
Pardon the shirt. It was my girlfriend gave it to me. I didn't want to wear it.
Yeah.
We broke up since then.
parachute came out of his ass. It was amazing. Folks, I've been Dan Freeman. Y'all been a lot of fun. Thanks for listening. Enjoy Football Radio Headliners. See you next time.
We barely had TV. 3 channels, that's all we got. No remote control. Kids were remote control. Get up and change the channel, you little bastard. Maybe your mom sounded different. I wish mine did. And then we had to stand up and we had to walk to the TV through thick, ugly shag carpeting. Good, I was worried about that in Winnemucca. And then we had to turn the big knob. And if you turn the big knob too fast, it would snap off, leaving only a plastic nub. We didn't have a 1-800 support number to call. What did we do? Vice grips, that's all we had. Must watch flipper. They weren't even our vice grips. We borrowed them from the neighbor. We never gave them back.
25 minutes after you left.
My God, wow. Look at that.
In cash. I've never had so many $100 bills in my life.
Look at all those George Jeffersons.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Wow, I know who's going whoring tonight.
40, 60, 80, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. $1,600.
Fantastic. Man, that's
Minus 200, which is what I got 246, but let's just minus 200.
That
From what I got
allays
paid.
your rent fears about
Allays everything.
this one.
Susie already called me. Can I buy my Hard Rock Cafe jacket for Christmas? Put $10 in and I just won 50. It's gonna be a long ass time. Anybody need to do laundry?
We're the comedians for this weekend. Folks out there in Radio Land, Phil Perrier, Dan Friedman, High Desert Inn, 8 p.m. tonight, 8 p.m. tomorrow, and we're shooting a documentary film, so try to look presentable, for crying out loud.
Absolutely.
You know, no mullets,
Uh-huh.
no suggestive T-shirts. Just come out, looking like the Elkins we know you can be, and get your freak on, have a couple of beers, a few laughs, and by God, we're gonna have a fine time out there.
Yes.
Tell you one of the things I enjoy the most about coming out to this part of the country, man, you can smoke indoors. Smokers, where's my people at? Where are you? Let me hear you. Yeah, I like to smoke, man. I smoke like it's my job, and if it was, I'd get a raise and I'd spend the raise on cigarettes. That's how much I like to smoke. And what kills me, man, in LA, you can't smoke anywhere. You can't smoke in bars, restaurants, people's houses. You go over to their house, gotta go outside to smoke, don't want the secondhand smoke, don't want to get sick. But if you want to do a line of coke off my wife's tit in the middle of the living room, that's okay.
Montana, big sky country. Now I love it because we were in Montana for 2 weeks. Beautiful, my favorite city, probably Helena. And oh, is it? Have y'all been to Butte? When you're in Butte, you're like, Helena's not that bad. Butte is a French word. It means giant fucking trailer park, I believe. Yeah, man. Butte, man, because that's where Evel Knievel comes from. Butte, because after about half a day in Butte, I felt like strapping a rocket to my ass and just blasting myself to Anaconda or something. Montana. You fuckers drink. You get pulled over in Helena, I was like, you been drinking? No, sir. Well, here, have a beer. Get the hell out of here. What the hell's he thinking?
440 coke. I told you it was coming, dude.
How much is that?
That's $120.
So how much is that on the past couple days?
Almost $2,000, about $1,800. If I get another 100 in, that means in 3 days I'll have won $2,000. Man. 2 G's, baby. Talk about solving some problems. It's gonna be a real good Christmas, baby. Happy Chanukah. Happy Chewbacca. And the road, really, I think you learn your lessons in between gigs. I honestly do. I think that's how that works. Like, it kind of teaches you who you are. I mean, I remember I was like driving to a gig one time, it was like 89 or so. And I don't know, and I'd spent $200 on a watch, this watch I wanted. It was the first cool thing I ever bought myself, you know. So I'm doing one of those runs where you're driving 17 hours to a gig, and about 10 hours in, I stop at a $20 hotel, you know, and most of the time it's a rest area, but if you can find a $20 hotel, hey, sleep on the sheets, you're all right. So I go in, I take my watch off and everything, my little $200 watch, which, by the way, my entire wardrobe wasn't $200, but I had to have that watch. But I take the watch off and I left it on a desk. So I get up at 4 to get in the car to drive so you can make the gig. And I left the watch there. I'd only had it like 2 days, right? So it's, as you're 2 hours down the road and you go to look, you know, sun's coming up, you want to see what time it is, it's not there. So I think it teaches you right there, you start to learn from what the road deals you, what kind of person you're going to be. You're going to, A, just get pissed and lose your mind and not let it go for 3 days. B, you're going to screw up your schedule, get 2 hours back and hope that somebody hasn't stolen it. Or C, you're going to go, all right, well, I owe the road debt. You know, I'm a big believer in the philosophy of the road gives and takes. So if you just let that go, it kind of comes around. And this is why I believe that. About 2 weeks later, I was driving to a gig with a comic, nice guy. I don't want to mention his name because I don't know if he wants his name mentioned, but he's one of puppet acts, you know. And
Okay.
and I'm working with him at, we're going into Prestonsburg, Kentucky, creative run,
Been there?
which I know you've been. And we're all the way up to the top of the mountain, and we have North Carolina plates. So the cops pull us over, and this guy's a real nice guy. And people who have not dealt with the police a lot get themselves freaked out very quickly, and so they don't quite know how to act with the cops. Unfortunately, I have enough experience. I know how to act.
Well.
But yeah, exactly. But at the time, and this was, you know, like I said, it's early on in my days. I was smoking a lot of weed, so you know, it's experimentation time.
No idea what you're talking
about. A lot
about.
of Hendrix going on at the time. So, but I had a bag of pot that I had rolled up and put in my day runner and closed my day runner, and then I had this side bag that I used to carry. I had my notebooks in it and whatever I was into at the time, you know. And this guy starts explaining himself to the cops. We're on our way to a gig. We're not trying to cause any trouble. I mean, he goes so far as he gets out of the car. He's showing the cop the dummy. So his partner comes around my side where I'm sitting there with my hands on the dashboard. And he sees my bag that's sitting between my feet, and he says, can I look through your bag? Yeah, all right. So as I'm handing the bag out the door, my day runner with the pot in it falls to the ground. It doesn't open, it just falls down, okay? So the
But
cop,
your heart goes, boop.
yeah, but at that point you learn, well, I might as well bluff because I got nothing to lose. So the cop picks up the day runner and puts it under his arm.
Oh.
While I'm showing him what else
So
is
he
in.
is literally in
He's
possession
holding
of your
my pot while he's searching my bag. And he goes, okay, and hands me my pot back, and I put it back, and I go, thank you, officer. So now you can show me on a slide rule where I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the watch karma paid for that.
That would have been at least $200.
You understand? Exactly. See, I think the road gives.
Reciprocity.
You just have to, if it gives you something, you take it. If it takes something, you give it.
I'm anxious to get home. I'm a little bummed out because it's over. You know, after tonight, basically in about 40 minutes, I'm done. I'm done for the tour. There is, you know, no more shows. I mean, tonight is the final one. I'm excited to go home and see Susie and the kids, and you know, actually have some downtime. But a little bummed out. It's, you know, it's like we were talking earlier today. You get in a routine. I enjoy doing the shows. I kind of, you know, I'm gonna miss it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel anything really. You know, it's just like I'm going on another show. I'm not really thinking about the totality of, you know, what it all means. But maybe it'll hit me at some point. But you know, I guess I'm a little depressed that, you know, it's all coming to an end. It's been a lot of fun, and it's kind of like, you know, I'd like to just tack another week on, you know, and delay the end of it if I could.
If you like drinking beer, man, take note. New beer coming out on the market, brewed in Los Angeles, California by Hasidic Jews. The beer is called Hebrew. I am not making this shit up, all right? It's real beer. The only difference is when you open it, instead of it going, it goes, oi, oi, oi. You open up the white beer and it goes, ugh. Then when you pour it, the head on it has a yarmulke. Okay, I lost about half up here with the yarmulke reference, but that's all right. It's kind of weird, like 2 rooms here. It's like this side's like smart stuff. Everybody over here is like, talk about your dick. Smart stuff. Talk about your dick. Smart stuff. It's like I'm having a stroke.
Way to go, sir. Stand proud, man. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Exhibit A, a black man in Elko, a very brave young man.
I'm a black man.
Sitting with the Butte people. I don't know what the fuck happened here. He was raised by wolves or something. I'm not really sure what happened. He's in the Federal Witness Protection Program. He had some problems with Suge Knight. Next thing you know, he's living in Butte.
That's a royal flush. That's worth $250 plus another $200. It's worth $300 for 50 cents. Gotta love it. I'd call my girlfriend and tell her, but she hung up on me because she's mad. I'd love to share this moment with her. She'll have to wait and see it in the movie, I guess.
Yeah, this is probably almost certainly the last Dan and Phil show. And I'm going to miss the little bastard. We've done so many of these, you know, and we get along. But, you know, time to move on. Dan's going to start headlining.
Are you happy?
I think so. I think I'm happier now than I've ever been. I'm a hell of a lot happier now than I was when I was in my 20s, and I think, you know, it's like the older you get, the better you know yourself, and then you know what you like and what you don't like, and what you'll tolerate and what you won't tolerate.
Do you think you'd ever be happy not doing stand-up?
No, I don't think so.
But have you ever
I
wanted?
might be happy not driving 4,000 miles in a month.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But there's something about, you know, stand-up's kind of like writing one book. It's like you've been working on War and Peace, and you still got to get that paragraph right. You know, and that paragraph ain't quite right. Yeah. And you've said that paragraph 500 times, but you breathed different that time, and it helped that thing in. It's tinkering with something. It's like writing a book that thick.
Yeah.
Or hopefully your book's that thick. You know, hopefully you live long enough to where it gets thick, but some of them are this thick. But it's over and over and over and over, and it looks like we're doing the same things, but a lot of times you're not.
A little bit different.
Sometimes the comedian's doing his act, he's completely asleep. He's thinking about his car payment.
Yeah.
There's other times when he hits up on something and goes, man, and that's what makes you come back and do comedy again.
It went almost frighteningly well. I mean, all the scariest gigs went way better than we expected. There wasn't really one just flat out awful gig. You know, we met some really cool people. The shows went well. Dan and I got along for 5 weeks in a car, which was something I'm sure we were very worried about. You know, the decapitator stayed on the car and didn't fly the hell off and kill people. You know, all the things that we were really the most apprehensive about didn't come to pass. And on the other, you know, on the flip side, we got a lot of serendipity. I mean, you know, shows that went great, and you know, just it seemed like we got a lot of little gifts. I mean, Dan won almost $2,000 in gambling the last couple of days. Yeah, it's been great. It's the only downside is that now, now it's almost like I'd like to do it again, but I think Dan's going to be, you know, kind of become a grab ass headliner, and I'm going to, you know, have to find somebody else to work with. So there goes that.
Well, from the beginning of the tour to the end of the tour, I was really nervous at the start of the tour. Nervous about the weather. I was worried about, you know, this thing staying on top of the car, the Decap 6. Terrified of that thing flying off and losing not only our luggage, but possibly killing somebody. I was heavily concerned about being broke when I got home and barely having enough money to even eat a meal when I got home. I was extremely concerned about having good shows and writing new material. I'm happy how I would say 95% of the tour went. The 5% would be bad weather, a bad show here or there, a couple sets I wasn't happy with, a few spats here and there amongst the crew, which in my opinion, professionally and as an educated person, I knew was inevitable, and I knew that it had to happen. You can't put 2 or 3 people in a car for 5 weeks and expect it all to be sing-alongs. It ain't gonna happen.
Can you believe I did not turn this thing on one time in 5 weeks?
I can't believe it.
Isn't that great?
Dude,
Well done,
it's
man.
the last time, dog. It's the last time. I'm kind of sad. It was the bomb, dude. Doesn't have to be the last time we work together. It's definitely
No,
the
no.
last time we're going to be 5
Last
weeks
triple
in the
run,
car
yeah.
together. That's for damn sure. I'll give me a call tomorrow. Let me know how your audition went. Or I'll call you and let me know how it goes.
All right.
All right. Bye, dude. Is that our refrigerator?
Let me take that out. Excuse me.
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. You like them?
Everybody likes them. Look good.
Thank you.
They smell good. I like the lights.
The what?
The lights.
Oh, did you see them?
Yes.
I missed you, Audie.
You're stuck with me now for a while, so.
I'll be saying, when are you leaving again in a
You'll
couple
be
of
asking me when I'm
days?
leaving.
So why do you think road comics become such successful performers on television?
Well, they have something to talk about. You know, I mean, they're not, you know, you're not looking at a comic who just started this, you know, he quit his job at Jiffy Lube and jumped up on stage. You know, he actually is, these guys are probably 32, 33 years old, have some life experience. You know, I mean, they've had a relationship or two, you know, maybe a marriage that went bad. You know, they may have lost a parent, or, you know, just things have happened to them in life. They've had a job they hated. You know, they've seen part of the world, and it's something they can talk about and relate to on stage. And they have their own personality. You know, they have developed into a person where, you know, most of the young guys, they don't even know who they are, you know, and it takes a long time. And, you know, in Hollywood, it's very important. People, they're always looking for point of view. You're 22, you don't have a point of view, you know? You really don't. I mean, you may think you do, but you don't.
You know, what have you learned about yourself in 20 years on the road?
I've learned that I'm still an arrogant bastard deep down, and that, you know, it's all about me. Deep down.